right. Hi, everyone. This is Lori McIntosh with Rustic Ranches Real Estate in Auburn, California. And I'm actually in Rockland today for kind of covering all of Placer County with President Willy Duncan
Yes.
of Sierra College.
Thanks, Lori.
And I was super fortunate to meet you because I'm a Rotarian in Auburn, and he kindly gave myself and a few other Rotarians a tour of this campus. And I thought this would be perfect to really get to know you a little bit more and what this college has to offer all the locals here in Placer County.
Thank you.
You bet. So first I'll just start off like, how did you get this job?
Well, I'm actually from Bakersfield, so
Okay.
born and raised down there. And I was working at a community college in Bakersfield. I started my career at CSU Bakersfield, actually, where I went to school, and then was working at Taft College, which is just outside of Bakersfield. And I had worked my way up and became president there. And then my wife and I started thinking, about moving somewhere else to a nicer place to live, a little bit better community. And so we started looking around, and I found Sierra College, and I knew a little about the community. I had a friend that lived up here, and the more I, really investigated Sierra College and Rockland and Auburn and all of the communities around, I fell in love with it and decided to apply for the job, and I got hired. So I started here in 2011, so I've been here ever since.
Wow, that's quite a while.
Yeah.
And what do you think it takes to be a president of a school like this? Some qualifications that make you stand out compared to others?
Thick skin, patience. No. I think one, you have to be passionate. I think these are busy jobs. I work a lot of hours, and so you have to enjoy what you're doing, or else it's not going to be a fun thing to do. I'm passionate about education. I'm passionate about workforce development, career tech ed programs. So not just 4-year programs, but also training students for careers in many different areas. And I just think education, I guess when I decided to go into education, it was somewhat purposeful because I'd gotten a master's degree in finance, and I was thinking I was going to go into the financial world. But I was really thinking about, like, what do I want to do with my life? And I thought, in education, I feel like I'm doing some good, and that I can go home every day feeling like I helped people and hopefully let them get just a little further in advancing themselves and where they want to be in their life. And so that was what I wanted to do. The skills it takes, I think you have to be a good communicator. I think you have to like being out in the community and engaging your community. I think you have to be patient and be willing to be flexible to, there are all different kinds in the world. And we have 1,300 employees here at Sierra College. So, you've got to be willing to work with people and actually like doing that. So, yeah.
That's a little different from being like a high school principal, huh?
It is, yeah. There are some similarities in education, but definitely a high school principal is a much different job. Probably, there's some big high schools, but probably a little bit smaller. Also, you meet with parents a lot more when you're a high school principal because you're dealing with minors in the classroom. Also, students are required to be there. As opposed to at a community college. This is voluntary, for students, and they're adults by the time they get to us. In fact, our average age is 27, I think. So, a lot of adults come back and go to school, either trying to get that degree they always wanted to get, or get either a certification or those next skills they needed for the job they have.
Yeah. So what's the youngest student you've had? Because I know when I went to I was in high school in Dallas, Texas,
Yeah.
and there was a community college right outside my neighborhood. So
Yeah.
it was a no-brainer to take a couple extra classes while I was a senior. So
Yeah.
I was a student when I was 17
Yeah.
in college.
We've had some 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds.
So I was wondering if you had some really young ones.
Yeah, we have. Sometimes there are super students that, they graduate from high school when they're really young. And also we have a program where we allow high school students to take classes on our campus.
Mm-hmm.
And so oftentimes students are coming to us. There used to be some age restrictions, but those have pretty much gone away. So if a student can benefit from a community college class, then they can come.
Yeah. And how about the oldest?
We graduated an individual that was 91 a couple of years ago.
I remember you told me that.
Yes, isn't that amazing? So yeah, You're never too old to get your degree, I guess. And that person, it was just had been a lifelong goal of theirs to get a degree, and they just finally decided to do it.
Do you
So
know what it was?
I don't. I
No.
wish I did. Yeah, no, I wish I did.
That's really cool. I like that. And then I understand that you have dorms that are going to open at some point.
Yeah, we do. So we've been working on the idea of building dorms here at the college. We had done a feasibility study, and housing's. I mean, we're not the most expensive community, but it's not cheap either, especially for a young person. So that's why we were exploring it. Well, a couple of years ago, the state came out with a program in which they wanted to incentivize colleges to build dorms. So we applied for funds, and we were one of eight. This was actually extended to the community colleges, the CSU, and the UC, and we were one of eight of that whole group to get funded. And so these are going to be affordable in nature. It'll be under $500 a month for a student to live in the dorms, which is pretty cheap in today's world. And we're constructing it right now, 354 bed facility. It'll be open probably in a year and a half or so. So I'm really excited about what that'll do for our community. Hopefully young folks that don't have the money to live out, maybe they're on their own, but they don't have the funds to do it. Maybe they can come live in our dorms and get access to community college.
Yeah, save a lot of money on gas,
Yep.
and then a lot of distractions from
Yeah,
having to live with someone that's nearby.
definitely.
That's great.
We're also
And
trying to really tie it into our student success efforts
mhm.
so that, it'll be a benefit to live in the dorms. You'll get access to services and being on campus all the time, eating good. Hopefully that will help students be more successful.
There won't be like an ice cream machine.
Well, I'm not going to say there's not going to be. I mean, everybody needs a little sweets every once in a while, but
Right. And then transportation around campus. I didn't see any bikes. I guess people, once you park your bike or if you come here, I mean, it's kind of hard because Highway 80's here, and then you have Sierra College Boulevard. It's pretty
yeah.
busy,
Yep.
but maybe skateboarders,
This is
bikers.
we do have some, but this is a rough place to bike to because
Hmm.
first of all, there's a lot of really great bike trails in our community, but none of them connect into Sierra College. That's actually something we're working on. We've been working with the city of Rockland on that and trying to connect in with the bike trail system so that you can get here. So we're hopeful to be able to do that in the next few years. We've done some other things on transportation. We have a partnership with Placercounty Transportation Agency and our bus services to provide free bus rides for students. So all of our students, if you have your Sierra College ID, you can ride free. And I think we've done that program for a little over a year now, and we've done over 20,000 rides. So our students are using it, which is really nice. So trying to do some things to help, not have as many cars on the road. And if you don't need to drive to school, maybe you can get here a different way.
Yeah, parking is a little tight.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's hard. We built a parking garage as the first project we did on our new modernization, and it's been full. It's been full. So
Yeah, I hope to take more classes. I had some horticulture classes that I've
okay.
taken on the weekends, learn about citrus. Now I have 30 fruit and nut trees because of what I learned taking a class here.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah, so now I got my own permaculture garden, and I can actually, once the fruit really grows and goes
Yeah.
crazy, for just the two of us, it'd be too much. I
Yeah.
can donate it to some like the Auburn was it Interfaith Food Closet.
Oh,
That's one of
that's
my goals.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we have a food closet for our students here, so you could always donate some here too if
I
you want.
might do that. Well, another topic is there's something that I noticed that I had no idea existed here was a museum. Can you talk a little
Yeah.
bit about that?
So we've actually had a natural history museum here for probably about 3 decades, maybe even a little bit longer. And it's actually one of the top 30. It was named one of the top 30 natural history museums in the United States. And that competed against all the major universities and the big natural history museums in the country. So we're really proud of it, obviously. If you come to our science building, you can walk through it. All of the displays are right out in the science building. And I believe it's third grade classes. We encourage all the third grade classes to come through. I think we get about 3,000 kids a year coming through the museum and seeing it. We also host something every year called Dino Days.
Hmm.
And it's a big celebration on campus. And we usually get a few thousand people out for that, and they can tour the museum. They can, and then we also have a lot of activities for kids and things to just kind of encourage kids to be interested in the sciences. And to think about their future and maybe come to Sierra College someday.
Yeah, I remember you talking about how high level it is compared to other museums.
It is. It is. Oh, we have. I mean, the number of holdings we have are comparative with some of the major universities. So, and I mean, honestly, our faculty have built it from the ground up. I mean, they've done it with their work, going out and finding the specimens and bones, and we've traded with some other museums, and we have things on loan from other museums at times. And so, yeah,
So that's pretty local.
it
Your
is.
own
Yeah.
employees setting it up and putting
Yeah.
it together.
Absolutely. We run it ourselves. We're working on getting accredited right now. We have a manager that we've hired, and we're going through the process to get accredited so that we can start to get some grants to help operate it. So,
Nice.
yeah.
You probably didn't know this, but I might have mentioned it to you when I met you. Is there's an app called Visit Placer,
Okay.
and Rob, I think it's Haskell's the
Yeah.
CEO, and
I
there's
know, Rob.
55 places that you can visit within Placer County, and one of them is the museum here.
Perfect.
So
I'm glad it's on the list.
And unfortunately, I was the only one that went to all 55 places. So
Did you
I
really?
want some sort of prize. I haven't got it yet, but
Congratulations.
they're going to do it again next year. So I have a feeling I'll have some competition this time around.
Very good. I actually did a video for them. They were working on a video for Placer County, and they asked if I'd be a part of it. And so I did that, talking about the virtues and the kinds of things that we have here to offer in Placer County.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I meet him Monday, actually.
Oh, good. Tell him I said hi.
I will. Something else that I noticed too that was unique was the theater.
Mhm.
No idea that there's a theater.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that for locals that might want to come and visit for arts and additional culture?
Absolutely. We have a 500 seat theater, so it is one of the larger theaters around the area. And we mainly operate it for our instructional programs because we have a full theater program, music programs, and a lot of the performing arts. And so we utilize it for instruction. We also have a theater tech program, and so if you're interested in working in theater or something, you can actually take that program too. But we do open it up to the community. Whenever we have our own plays and performances, the community can come. And then there are a number of community groups that also use the theater. And so they'll host events here, oftentimes in the theater. And so we have a program that partners with them. And we actually have a plan to modernize that theater and add some additional functionality. We need a black box. If you're familiar with black box theaters, they're kind of a small square essentially, and you can do a lot of like theater in the round or in the square and that kind of a thing. We don't have that right now, and that's kind of a big trend in the theater. And so we're hoping to get one of those and add that, and then really be able to expand what we're doing in theater arts.
Yeah, they will be on par with the Bay Area, right?
I mean, yes,
The
exactly.
foothills are, you got to watch out.
That's right. That's right.
Any other things that locals could do where they're not a student and could just take a benefit from your college?
Yeah, I'll give you a couple others. One, we have a trail system that connects to the campus, and we have a nature area that's almost 100 acres large. It flows along, or it follows the creek, and which is a salmon habitat, so you can actually see salmon spawning in there. But there's some trails that go through there, and you can come out and walk on the trails, and really, it's pretty amazing because you're right here by 80. And kind of busy Sierra College and everything. But when you get down in there, you're in the Oaks, and it's a really pretty place. And so our students utilize it. You see people walking out on those trails quite a bit. That's a nice thought. And then the other thing I would say is we're probably one of the premier athletic programs in the California community colleges, especially in Northern California. And so we have a whole host of athletic events. So if you like to come and watch college athletics at a pretty high level, you can come to our football games or basketball or softball or baseball or volleyball. I mean, we've got, our water polo and aquatics programs have been incredibly successful. So we've got a lot of really high quality athletics happening. So you can always come and participate in those. It's really inexpensive and support young student athletes.
That's great. I love a good basketball game.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing I would say is our foundation is extremely active and raises money to support the college and support our students. And so that's another good way for people to get involved with Sierra College. You can volunteer, you can donate, we host events on campus sometimes. And so it's a good way. oftentimes people say, "What's the best way to get engaged?" And I'll direct them to our foundation because it's a nice way to support the college and our students.
Okay, so through the foundation, you could probably be any age. Do you have to be like fingerprinted or
No,
vetted or
nope,
anything?
nope, not at all.
So pretty simple.
Yep, it's pretty simple. You just contact us. We chat with you about your interests and what you would like to support and how you'd like to be involved, and we get you involved.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's quite a few seniors that move up here from the Bay Area that want like less traffic, a more laid back lifestyle.
yeah,
So I think that would be perfect for them.
yeah, absolutely. We also have for seniors, this might be something you'd be interested in. We have what we call an OLLI program, OLLI, that stands for Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. And it's called that because we started it initially on a grant that we got from the Osher Foundation. It's a unique program. Most of them in the country are at four-year universities. We're one of two or three community colleges in the country that have it. And it's focused on lifelong learning. And so anybody can take the classes, but the intent is really for seniors.
Hmm.
And we offer hundreds of classes during the year. They can take anything from special interest classes. You can learn new language. You can, learn computer skills. You can. They talk travel. You might have a travel expert that'll, do some things. So there's all different kinds of classes. The instructors come from our community, so they're people that usually hear about us and they say, "Oh, I could teach a class in this, whatever it is. Maybe beer making. I make my own beer. I could teach people how to do it." And through the OLLI program, we might offer that program. And so that's something that a lot of seniors take advantage of.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that too.
Yeah.
Anything where seniors can work with youth?
Yeah, probably as a volunteer for some of our programs.
Hmm.
We definitely have. So, for example, we support former foster youth. We have a little over 200 former foster youth students on campus that come out of the foster youth system, and many of them, some have supportive families that they stay with. Others, they're once they're out of the foster youth, their system, they're on their own. And so we do quite a few things. We have a lunch, we have some supportive events, and so we get actually a number of seniors come and support that program. There's some women that knit blankets for them, and they come
Nice.
every year and they donate the blankets to the students. And so there's ways to be involved, certainly.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
I really
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Okay, and I know I asked you before about equine services, anything relating to horses, large animals. I know that's not obviously not UC Davis Veterinary School,
Right.
but it could be a stepping stone with
Yeah,
some of the
yeah.
classes.
We
Tell me
don't
about
have a
that.
pre-vet program.
Hmm.
We've got all the science classes that would lead to something like that. We do have a large animal science program, and so our through our ag program, one of our faculty members, that's her expertise, and so she teaches classes in that. We do partner with Lincoln. We go out to their farm,
Hmm.
and so we utilize that space. But not a full tech program for vet. It's something I'm interested in. We've explored it in the past. It's a little difficult to get it set up because it's a little intensive financially. You need lab space, you need all those kinds of things, but it's something we've been exploring. So
Yeah, but you do have a big ag program.
we do, we do.
Yeah, I
Yeah, we have.
remember. I guess with Placercounty, I took a class on. We were at, I think it was twin orchards,
Yeah,
and we learned how to kind of just. They had a couple guys with a big tractor and how to just drop seeds,
yeah,
and there were probably about 20 students there from the school.
that's great. We
Hmm.
do have a great ag program, like you said, and it's focused on most of the ag in Placer County is small farms, relatively small in comparison to big ag. And so Twin Peaks is one. There's a number of other farms that partner with us, and our students go out there, which is great. We've also been working with Placer County Vintners Association and talking to them about the growth of the wineries in our community and jobs that are available for students and the workforce that they need. And so we actually held a viticulture summit on campus with a lot of the winemakers and grape growers in the area came to it and just kind of talked about the state of industry in Placer County. And it's something that we're interested in starting a program in. So we're starting to work on that now.
That's really impressive.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like it. I love Placer Wine Trail.
Yeah, isn't
It's
that
a lot of
great?
fun.
I know,
So
I do
much to
too.
do.
Yep.
Okay, so I want to go back to you a little bit.
Okay.
Tell me, as president of a college's size, anything that has stood out for you? Like anything happen here that's unusual that you've had to deal with that was very a unique situation
I
or
mean,
surprising?
the craziest situation that any of us have ever dealt with was COVID and the way that
Yeah,
impacted all of us. So that definitely tested all of us in how to handle it. And as you know, we were getting information from the state and from the health department, and how to make that work. And so we had to turn this college on a dime, and that was probably one of the most challenging things I think that's happened in my career. We survived it. We got through it. I think, Sierra College has thrived. Our enrollment's, doing really, really well. Students I mean, you come to campus and you wouldn't know we ever had, a shutdown or anything. So that was probably the weirdest and most challenging thing I've ever seen. We have our moments. I mean, things happen. This is a big place. We have 17,000 students and, 1,300 employees. And so you're like a small city. And so, we have everything from, really positive things that happen, big events, to negative things that happen, and we have to be able to respond to all of them. So it's just, it's a different day every time you come to work,
yeah.
it definitely makes you.
Do you have like campus police, or would that be Rockland police if there was an issue?
So we actually have both. We don't have a full police service on campus, but we have campus safety
Security?
department. Yeah, and then we have a contract with Rockland, and we have two full-time police officers that are dedicated to us. They're like school resource officers would be, but they're full officers on our campus. And so we have a really good partnership with Rockland. They train on our campus quite a bit. Emergency preparedness is just one of those realities in life that we have to think about. And so being prepared, God forbid anything happened on our campus. But, we train for things like an active shooter or, an earthquake or a fire or any other kind of natural disaster. And Rockland PD is a big part of that for us.
Yeah, I guess. And on a more serious note, so back in the '80s,
Yeah.
I'm pretty old. I went to college at University of Texas in
Yeah.
Austin,
Wow.
and there was a big issue with rape, and most females were not really viewed as victims, kind of like they asked for it.
Oh,
That was just
wow.
a big viewpoint back then,
Yeah.
and there was not any sort of security or police force, and there were 50,000 students there
Yeah.
back when I went. So I know it's evolved quite a bit, and you always hear in the news every now and again something bad happening. But as a female and as an adult that might go to an adult class after a
Sure.
hard day of work, I just want to make sure that women feel safe.
Yep.
If they have a class here and it seems pretty well lit, you have a lot of construction going on.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fences and
Yeah.
things that you have to really, I think just any female in general is going to have her eyes open
Yeah.
and be on alert just because it's just a natural way of being for us.
Yep. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And obviously, we take that really seriously. Knock on wood, we've had a pretty good track record with not having things happen on campus, but we're always attuned to that. And we do something every year. We do a night walk with our students, and they call it Take Back the Night. And we invite our female students in particular, but any student comes, and a lot of males come, and we walk the campus at night with our security and our facilities department, and we look for areas that are not well lit, that people are afraid, and we have them tell us like where when you walk, where what part scares you, what part, and so we every year we try to do something different. We do a different project to try to light a new area or to take down. Sometimes it's shrubs. Shrubs get overgrown in an area and people can hide in them and that kind of thing. So we maybe take down some shrubs. The construction fencing you brought that up, is a really interesting one, and that is, the construction companies like to put the fencing up. They need to because they don't want people into the site and it's a danger. But oftentimes then that blocks view, and it creates some dangers. And so we have tried to pay particular attention to that and try to look to add some lighting in some of those areas because construction takes a long time. It can be a year to 18 months to build a building. And so you're going to have that fencing up for a long time. So definitely something we take seriously. I think as we add dorms, We have dorms right now, but they're much smaller. As we add dorms, that's another area where you have to worry about safety. And so we are definitely planning security presence in those dorms and wanting to make sure people feel safe. And so, we'll focus on that also too.
Yeah, that's really impressive that you walk.
Thanks.
I was just thinking we should do that in Old Town Auburn.
Yeah.
There's this tunnel that I'm in Leadership Auburn right now, and we were talking about brightening that up and making it a safe place to cut through to go to the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
And
yeah, maybe with the city of Auburn and the Auburn police, and you get some volunteers like yourself and go out there and walk it and maybe walk some of those areas and maybe get something changed.
Right, but you also don't have homeless people living on campus. So.
We do not, and you've got that issue, I know. Yeah, we do not, although there have been times when I mentioned our nature area, and there have been times when we get homeless people coming in and trying to live out in that area. So we oftentimes have to call the police and have them removed. They can't live out there. So
right, because nature area is somewhere where you go for like wellness and to revitalize your mind when you've been in a stressful class or something.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
Yeah, we don't want it to be a danger to students and to themselves.
Right. So. Yeah. Anything else that you can think of that we didn't talk about?
I mean, there's so much happening, as you know. I mean, when I spoke to Rotary and then when I had you guys out to campus, I mean, I couldn't talk forever about the college and the kinds of things that we're doing. I'm very proud of the work that's happening. But, I think we've covered a lot. So
I really feel like you're irreplaceable.
Oh my gosh.
Seriously.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Your knowledge and your background and all the things that have been happening here. It's pretty impressive.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I very much want us to be connected with the community. When I got here to Sierra College in 2011, that was one of my major goals, was to ensure that the community felt connected to its college, that you felt like this was your college and that you could be here and get what you needed out of it. So I'm just super proud when I hear things like that. And I feel like we've accomplished a lot. There's always more to do, but it's really, we're the community's college. And so for people to feel connected to us, I think is what's most important.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Thank you.
And I wanted to point out, I have a question for you guys when you watch this video. If there's something that you feel that President Duncan should know about with the college, tell me and I'll tell him. He'll tell his assistant. He's a busy guy. And or think something that you're super proud of, or somehow your life might have changed because of the college, just share it. I'd love to hear about it. And of course, I've sold a home down the street in Rockland on El Cid, the little estates there, and I was really pushing for like a professor. I thought it would be perfect for them, but someone else moved in there. But I'm happy to help you if you want to move here and you don't want to live in the dorm.
That's right.
And you have parents with money, because it's, like you said, it's pretty pricey.
It is. Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks again for your time.
Yeah. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah. We're done.